So we're back uh, after a very long break. Uh, yeah, a lot has happened since the last time we recorded. I'm trying to think. I think that was in April, March. It was a long time ago. A lot has happened. Um, yeah, I don't. Still feeling out the whole anonymous personality behind the channel and how much I should say about my real life and how much I should just talk about here. But it's been a busy year, and the space where I record these, or at least where I previously did, um, we moved, we upgraded, whatever, and it's been a lot of moving parts, and this just kind of got put on the back burner. But now I figured, you know, why not try to start strong again going into the end of the year, into the new year, and I'll have some downtime over Christmas, and in general, the industry that I work in is pretty slow at the beginning of the year, and so I'll have a decent amount of free time on my hands to hopefully batch record a lot. So, yeah, but enough about that. We're here again, kind of the same setup. I tried to do as much as I could. The lights are in some different places, and I don't know, but I tried to make it look as close to the old one as I could for consistency. But yeah, I guess let's get into it. Today, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite albums of all time, which is the Charlie Brown Christmas album by Vince Guaraldi and his trio. Uh, yeah, I'm sure most people are familiar with this. There's not a ton of new information I could probably give you that's not very easy to find on your own, but yeah, this is one of my favorite albums of all time, even though I strictly will only listen to it, you know, in the fall. Or really, I'm not one of those people that listens to Christmas music all year, and I also have a pretty firm tradition of I won't listen to Christmas music until after I eat Thanksgiving dinner. So I guess that's a little bit about me, and I'm hoping I'm not getting a ton of reflections here, but I kind of have a tradition of every year after I eat Thanksgiving dinner, at some point I take a nap because all that food makes me tired. I also wake up pretty early every year on Thanksgiving for a separate tradition. Um, but when I wake up from that nap, I always put this on. And to me, that is when it's officially, the start of the Christmas season. So, um, yeah, I guess a bit of backstory with this album. And if I was one of those trigger ASMR people, I'd be doing all the funky stuff on here, but I don't know. I don't really like that stuff, so I'm not gonna do it, and I'm just gonna talk. Um, but yeah, this has been one of my favorite albums since I was a kid. Obviously, love the show, the movie. I mean, it's not really a movie, it's pretty short, but I love, there we go, the television special. I love the CBS television special. Grew up watching it. I always loved the music. I honestly think the music is just as important to why Charlie Brown Christmas is great as the story is. And yeah, when I first started collecting records, this was one of the ones that I always wanted to find. I didn't want to buy it. There had been some represses, oh, Charlie Brown Christmas on translucent green vinyl at Urban Outfitters or whatever, which is cool, but I wanted to find something a bit more original and old. Um, and I guess that's kind of a thing with me and soundtracks. I'm the same way with talked about in Drive. And another one that I always try to look for is the original Willy Wonka movie soundtrack. I don't know. There's just something about it. I don't want to buy a new version, even though it'll probably sound better, or it's on 180 gram, or whatever. But I don't know. I just want to find an older version of it, and I'll pay, you know, probably more than I should. But I don't know. I like finding those things, and so uh, I think it was the first Christmas after I first started collecting records. I went to the local record store in the town where I was living, where I was going to college, and I had become friends with the owner there, and even had been like talking to him, like, "Hey, I have another job right now, but like, if you need help, would love to like help out on the weekends or something." They had just opened, and so he's trying to get overhead low, but um, I told him I had been looking for this, and so um, that Christmas they got it in stock, and I went and I grabbed it. And so I'm not sure exactly how old this pressing is, but it is pretty old. Um, and unfortunately, there's a little bit of water damage on the sleeve that was not there when I first bought it. Um, I had brought this home over Christmas, like a year or two after I bought it, to play in my parents' basement while I stayed there for the holidays. And there was a bit of flooding, and a little bit of water got to the sleeve. Luckily, the record plays fine, but it is sad. But this is one of my most valued records to me personally. I'm not gonna sell it. I don't even think I would get too much for it, but yeah, I guess this is a fantasy number 8431. Uh, and it's a stereo recording. It's not mono, so I don't think it's the original, because this did come out a while ago. I forget the actual year that the Charlie Brown Christmas special came out, but I guess let's read the back here. So, a Charlie Brown Christmas, Vince Guaraldi Trio. And this is a quick little forward about the music, about Vince Guaraldi and the task he had. The hardest task an artist faces is not just to achieve self expression. That almost comes by definition, even if it's difficult to hone that self expression into something good enough to be art. It is another kind of thing altogether, and it strikes me as more difficult to look at, hear, feel, and experience somebody else's artistic expression, and then make something of your own which shows empathy, which relates to the other, but which still has your own individual artistic stamp. This is what, it seems to me, Vince Guaraldi achieved with his score for Charlie Brown. He took his inspiration from the creations of Charles Schulz and made music that reflects that inspiration, is empathetic with the image, and is still solidly and unmistakably Vince Guaraldi. It was natural for him to do this. He's been reading Peanuts for years, as who hasn't? But he brought some very special talent along to the process. Vince has big ears, a wide range of feeling, and a poetically lyrical manner and playing and of writing jazz music. Off stage, he's flippin' funny, salty and serious, and sometimes stubborn. At the piano, he's all music, all lyricism, and all jazz. In the educational television three-part film Anatomy of a Hit, Vince was shown as a sensitive, introspective little man whose dreams became music. This is true. Ever since he was a student at San Francisco State College, he has dreamed music, and music has been his dream. In the years of apprenticeship he spent with Cal Jader. I know this guy, but I don't never remember how to say his name. Cal Jader and Woody Herman, and with his own group until he hit the big time with jazz impressions of Black Orpheus and Cast Your Fate to the Wind. Vince learned the hard lesson of how to transmit those dreams from his mind through his hands to the keyboard. Jazz is a music of individualism. As such, it is truly a music of people and not styles. Each person develops his own sound, his own voice, his own musical personality which with some is expressed only in their own playing. With Vince, the personal sound, the personal voice, and the individual musical personalities expressed not only in his playing, but in his composing as well. All the characters in Peanuts are artists confronted with the illogical, blind, and mechanistic world. It was natural that Vince Guaraldi's music should fit so well. By Ralph J. Gleason. So, there's no track listing on here. It's okay. We'll find the sleeve. I love this older paper. Here we are, side 1. It's dusty. Need to give this a clean. So, Oh Tannenbaum, What Child Is This? My Little Drum, Linus and Lucy, a classic. And Christmas Time Is Here. And this is the instrumental version is on this side. Some nice improvisation there. Nothing too crazy, but I think it does add to the version with the vocals. Then on the other side, we start with Christmas Time Is Here, then Skating, another classic. Hark the Herald Angels Sing, Christmas Is Coming for Elise, and Christmas Song. So something to note that I've always found interesting. So a lot of times, especially in older records, I don't know, it's not so much of a thing now because a lot of records aren't sequenced with vinyl in mind, but some are. Historically, you would find that the singles would be the first track on either side. And so that is why Christmas Time Is Here is the first track on side 2, the vocal version. And that's because something with the physics of how fast the record is spinning and everything, that basically the grooves on the outside, there's more detail or you get a richer sound. Basically, the closer you get to the center, the sound is not as good. It's obviously still, if you have a good, tone arm and cartridge and preamp and everything, you can buy tens of thousands of dollars of equipment to make something sound really good. But just through physics and science and whatever, the outside of the record will always sound better than the inside. And so you look at a lot of older records and you'll see that their hit songs, the big singles, are usually the first or second track on each side. I think the most recent example, this isn't even an example of it, but Big Thief's 22 album, Dragon, New, Warm Mountain, I Believe in You. Long name, weird name, but they broke that down into like it's 20 songs, and on the record, on the vinyl, it's 2 LPs and 5 songs on each side, and it kind of like starts a new one. I guess you could say that could be sequenced for vinyl, but I don't think they started with it in mind, but it's just something to think about. Yeah, really love the music on this. Really great record. I play it every Christmas. It's on all my playlists, and Christmas Time Is Here, in my opinion, is one of the best, not just Christmas songs, but songs in general that's ever been written. There's something about it that just captures like a really wide spectrum of human emotion. Yeah, I feel like the holidays can be so up and down emotionally for a lot of people, and I feel like that's a song that is joyful and can make you happy, but also has this like somber tone to it that, if you're sad, you can find some comfort in it. Um, yeah, I don't know. There's just something about it that, like, every time I listen to it, um, I don't know, I just feel this deep human connection with that song. And now I think this is originally 60s, 70s. I forget exactly when it came out, but yeah, the fact that that connection can still be felt all these years later. And I know I'm not alone when I talk about this. I feel like there was a Pitchfork article about this like a decade ago. Maybe about the album or just about that song in general, but just about how it really nails this like dichotomy of like joy and melancholy that comes with the holiday season. And I think that makes it a really special album. So, um, yeah, I guess this is the first in my comeback series here. Try and get this all packaged again. Um, but yeah, I have a lot of albums to get through. Um, and I guess ooh, I'm not doing this well. I guess I am curious. I'm happy to talk about suggestions you guys might have. Obviously, I don't have every record ever made in the history of music, but I have a decent amount and a pretty wide range of genres. So, um, I know obviously I'd seen a lot of people looking at the Sufjan and Bon Iver ones, the Charlie XCX one, which is crazy. So much has changed for her since I made that video. Was not expecting Brat to be this huge cultural thing. Um, I will leave my thoughts about that album for another day. But yeah, I don't know if you have any suggestions of things that you like. Let me know. Additionally, I have recently gotten into collecting a lot of my favorite movies or films um, for a variety of reasons. I've always bought movies, but usually it was just like, oh, this movie I like is $5 at Target. I'll buy it. Um, but now I've gotten a bit more specific about curating kind of a collection, I think, for myself, because obviously I like collecting records. I think it's a cool thing to have nice packaged art, especially, some of these special editions of movies, Criterion, or these A24 collector's editions and stuff like that. But also just because I feel like every time I watch a movie on Netflix, it just looks like shit. Even HBO or whatever. I got a 4K box set of the Lord of the Rings trilogy because I loved those growing up and they still hold up. They're incredible movies, but I watch those and then I compare it to watching it on HBO Max. This thing that we pay for every month, and the bit rate is awful. The sound is not good. Um, and I think it's one of those things I just didn't notice until I watched it on a physical disc through a physical player. And I don't know. That kind of stirred something in me. And so, uh, yeah, I don't think I want this channel to just be about vinyl. I know that's kind of the name, but I'd like to talk about things in general that are interesting to people, even like, I don't know, this book. Right, I try to leave a little something over here that's interesting, but this is a very interesting book that I picked up last year from. It's made by Boot Boys. They're like a design and bootleg. Um, I don't know if you want to call them a company. I don't know. They just kind of have an Instagram and a website to order stuff, but this is like a collaboration between a philosopher, artist, and a writer, and all this stuff to create this book with a bunch of like sourced images from archives and stuff like that. That like is just really cool to just thumb through, but it also is like an actual book. And the whole point is that it's almost like you're reading it and like you're moving through different rooms, and that's the approach. I'm doing an awful job of explaining it, but yeah, I don't know, just things that are interesting. I want to talk about those things that I'm passionate about. I want to talk about that because again, that's the sort of stuff that I like to watch. Um, Even if I don't care too much about the topic that the person's talking about, if they care about it, I'm very interested and I'll listen. Um, and so, yeah, I figured I've spent a lot of time and money buying a bunch of stuff. And so, um, yeah, I guess we will just talk about stuff on this channel. Not to be materialistic either. Like, I don't just buy things just to have them. I buy them if they have some meaning or if I think there's something valuable to them. But yeah, I think I'm rambling at this point and I'm gonna stop. So it is 9:34 where I'm at. I'm probably gonna record one or two more of these tonight, and then I am got a busy few days of work ahead of me. The next few weeks are kind of crazy before the holidays, but I will be recording more and uploading. Please let me know what you like. And yeah, hoping we can grow this thing organically, hoping there's other people who are into the same stuff I'm into, and we can find a common place to kind of appreciate all of these things together. And so I think that's all I got. I am gonna stop the video now. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys the next time I record, which will hopefully be in like 5 minutes. All right.